So what is up, everyone? Today I'm going to be showing you how you can build a full AI cold calling system that can cold call people, have context about them when it cold calls, like their name, their email, and all of that. Then be able to check the calendar for availability and finally book them in under 15 minutes. So to do this, we are going to be using Vappy, but you can do anything else, like go high level or retail or, anything else. I don't care. But first, let's set up the basics. You are going to create a new assistant in Vappy, but I already have one, so let me just select him. And then you're going to go to Tools. You won't set up the assistant for now. In Tools, here are all the tools you're going to create. First one is going to be name list. And then what you're going to do basically, you're going to leave the parameters empty. You're going to leave everything empty. And you're just going to leave the server URL to whatever webhook you create later, which I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. The end call tool is very simple. Just leave it exactly how it is and call tool, name it whatever you want. And these are three special ones. So this one right here, I personally don't use it, but you can use it. What it basically is Vappy has the pre-selected Google Calendar connection. It's often very unreliable, it can't actually check for times, and sometimes it doesn't even book in properly, so I highly recommend you don't use it. So for that, I'm going to delete this. And then you have these final two, which are very, very important. Check availability is the one that actually checks availability. So say this for the description. This tool will get the user's name and preferred date and time. Then it will query the calendar for available slots and return the availability back to the user. For parameters, you're going to create three of them. You're going to create name, email, and preferred time, and going to make all of them required. So here's basically how you're going to do that. You're going to go here and you're going to click add property. You're going to name it whatever you want. So let me just say XXX. You can describe it so you know this is XXX. And then you click on required here. That's it. And then you leave the type to string. After doing that, you are going to move on to the book consultation tool. It basically says this tool will get the user's name, email, phone number, and preferred date, time, then book the user in for their consultation. Here you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to have name, email, and phone number. Except one difference is you are going to put date, time. Now I'll show you how we're going to set this up in make.com. In make.com, I want you to create four scenarios. This is a scenario that's going to be calling for you. Now, you can ignore all of these fields essentially, but there are some important ones. Like for example, you want the format. Right after doing that, the name of the person is very essential too. The called yet row is very essential. And then the last one you need is whatever extra variables you want the agent to know before calling, like their email, maybe who they are, some quick context about them, stuff like that. So in this example, it's the area because it's for real estate. After having search rows, here's basically what you're going to say. So you're going to connect it to your search rows. You're going to connect it to the exact table. And here's what you're going to do. For the filter, you're going to find the filter and you're going to put called yet does not exist. And then you're going to put the order to ascending and the limit to 1. What this basically means here is he's going to go to the Google Sheets and he's going to filter through all of them going down. If there's something, he'll go down and then he'll go down again and he'll keep on doing that until he finds an empty person and then they'll be called. They're going to be called through this Vappy module, which is actually connected to your agent. So you're going to leave everything how it is, and you're going to set the phone to the actual formatted. For the server messages, you can check all of them. It doesn't matter. End of call report, function call, handoff destination hang, speech update, status update, tool calls, transfer destination request, user interrupted, and that's pretty much it. You can also set up a voicemail and all that, but I don't recommend it because it's so weird. Like, no one checks their voicemail anymore, and even if they do check, AI in a voicemail. And then we're going to have the sleep module, which I'll explain to you why we actually need this in just a sec. And then you are finally going to have a Google Sheets update a row, which updates this one right here to called yes. So when the agent calls again, it doesn't recall the same person. Your second scenario is going to be the dynamic variable scenario. So basically, here's how you're going to set this up. You're going to take a webhook and whatever sort of... And here's how you're going to set it up. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a webhook and you're going to take whatever link and you're going to plug it in here for the nameless tool. So this thing I was talking to you about before, the server URL, you're going to plug it right here and then you're going to save it. Right after doing that, you want to have Google Sheets, search rows, and you want it to work exactly in the same way as this one. So same Google Sheets, everything is the exact same. And then the last module here is going to be a webhook response. So if you don't know how to find this, and then the last module right here is going to be a webhook response. So just copy this. You can find it in the VAPI documentation on how to send a response. Then you're going to plug in the tool call ID. Just for some quick context on how to get this, you have to trigger the tool first. So what I mean by that is when you go back to your assistant, you have to tell it to trigger the tool at the start of the call and then run a test call. Because the webhook won't have the data. The webhook, remember, is a tool for thousands of different use cases. So it won't know you're using VAPI and it won't give you the option to plug in your tool call ID unless you run a call first so it knows, oh yeah, he's using VAPI and I have to offer the tool call ID as a variable. You're going to pick the tool call ID here. For the result, you can send whatever you want back. So I just put name and then I put the name of the person, and area, I put the area, but it can be whatever you want. It can be their problem, their context, their history, whatever it is. And this is actually where the sleep module from here comes in. So if you go back here, because basically here's what happens. When the assistant tries to call the person, it wants to mark them as called. So it wants to basically say that called yet is yes. But this scenario also uses the exact same method to find the person's name and whatever things you want about them. Which basically means that if this one right here updates the called yet instantly, the assistant is going to instantly start the call with their name. And even if it does, it's still going to be too late. So it's going to give you the information of the person right under them, and we do not want that happening. Right at the start of the call, then you can just leave it short, depending on how many seconds it takes to actually get into it. And if he does it towards like the end or the middle of the call, see how long it takes him to get there on average, and then time it to be around that. Keep in mind that the limit is 300 seconds. It's in seconds. Just one thing though, don't make it too long, because if you make it too long, your assistant isn't going to be calling for a while. It depends on you, but don't set it too low and don't set it too high. Third scenario is going to be your appointment book. So here you're going to do the exact same thing with the webhook. Only difference is when you go back to VAPI and the tools, plug it in and check availability. So same thing, you're going to go down here and you're going to put it right here in the server URL. Then you're going to have a Google Calendar, create an event. Same thing, you're going to trigger a random call and have your assistant trigger this tool, which is very easy. All you literally have to tell them to do is trigger the tool. So let me show you how I did it. This is for the check availability tool, but I basically told them then you're going to plug in your variable here that represents, you know, whatever the person's name is. And then for here, the start, you want to basically set it as the date time variable. So you remember you added this variable and you made it required, which means that even if the person doesn't specify a time, before triggering the tool, the agent will tell them, okay, what time do you want to book for? And then for the end date, you're going to add this function right here. So you're going to find the functions and you're going to add exactly this. So you're going to add the date time and then you're going to do this and then you're going to do 60. If you want to do all of this, you can just put the duration. So you can say, you know, like 60 minutes, 70 minutes, 80 minutes, but never put something like 1 hour and never put the actual end. So don't put 60M or 1H. Then you're going to have this one right here, which is the webhook response, where you're going to put the exact same format as the first one, only for the result, instead of putting variables, I just said the meeting has been booked. And then you have the check availability tool. I know I didn't name it that, so it might be a bit confusing, but you get the idea. You're going to do the exact same thing with the webhook, and right now you're going to plug it into the check availability tool. So right here, you're going to plug it into the server URL. After plugging it in, I know it looks a bit complex, but it's really, really easy, trust me. The thing you're going to do, again, is you're going to trigger the tool by basically telling the agent to use it wherever and giving him all the info. After triggering it right here, you're going to basically go and you're going to add the Google Calendar get free busy information. You're going to set up your connection. For the time range, you're basically going to put the first one, so their preferred time. The time range 2, you want to put their preferred time, add minutes and 60, or depending on however long your consultation actually lasts. And for the calendar ID, you want to find it. So this is super easy to find. It always changes, so I won't walk you through it, but just Google it. I can guarantee you'll find it in like a minute. And then you have a router with 2 filters and 2 webhook responses. Now you already know how this works. We have the body right here. Again, same format with the ID and everything. Only difference here, we have 2 different webhook responses. One of them basically says the time is not free, and one of them says the time slot is free. For the filters, here's exactly what you're going to do. For the first one where it's busy, you're going to go on here. And for the condition, you're going to put the busy times array greater than 0. What this basically means is that between the time they chose and between the end time that you calculated, there's more than one event happening during that time. And then you are going to save. Second one, you're not going to put greater than, you're just going to put equals to 0 with the calendar, with the free busy times, same thing. Then the webhook response that says the time slot is free. No tools, add all the tools down here, and then prompt him to say whatever you want him to say. Describe what you want your AI to do, and that is pretty much it. You have now built a full AI receptionist. You have now built a full AI cold caller that can cold call people, check for busy times, tell them if the time is free or not, book them in, and it knows whatever information you want it to know beforehand. And this is so powerful because instead of starting the call with something like, hey, yeah, this is Timmy from XYZ Marketing, you can genuinely give it context, like how many reviews they have, all that sort of stuff, what their website looks like. You can describe it real quick and have them talk about that instead. And one more trick for all of you who stayed until the end of the video, if you want to build all these workflows without actually adding all the modules yourself and all of that, have it generate everything for you on a free account. With that, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a fun time out of it. And one more trick for all of you who stayed until the end of the video, if you want to build all of these workflows without actually adding all the modules yourself and all of that, and you can just have it generate everything for you on a free account. With that, I hope you have a great rest of your day and a fun time automating.